Good day, everyone. Robert Weimer, the go-to guy of DesireADifference.com, here with another WordPress tutorial. We're going to get further along in our general settings, and I believe we may even wrap it up in this video tutorial. Wouldn't that be nice to be able to get started that much sooner and start making money and start getting ahead of your competition? Start giving them to the sweats, wondering where did this person come from? So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to log into your WordPress, in this instance our training site, and click on your settings, and we are going to go into the writing link right here. Now, the options that you have under your writing, and let's be clear about this. Writing means what you put on your pages, your static pages, and under your posts. This is the settings for all of that stuff. Now, the size of the post box, you can make it longer, or you can make it bigger, or you can make it smaller. Right now it's at its default 10 lines. This does not mean that the size or the amount of text on your posts or on your pages is affected. It just shows up what goes on behind the scenes and what you see. For example, we're going to go ahead and open this up in a new tab. We're going to go ahead and click into Hello World, which is a blog post. This is your post box area. And if you want to keep it at 10 lines, that's absolutely fine. What's going to happen is you'll just start seeing a scroll bar whenever you get beyond this. So what this does is it allows you to expand that. So we're going to put it at like 15. Yeah, that'll work just fine. Now, formatting, convert emoticons like smileys, all of that stuff into display. So you've seen it online or on social network sites through chat rooms, IMs, that sort of thing, where you see the little smileys and stuff like that. Basically, this, if you check this, it converts that into actual smiley faces. Now, there's another checkbox that should be checked, in my opinion, that WordPress should correct invalidability nested HTML automatically. Basically, what this means in a nutshell is it just makes sure that everything is correct and that it'll show up. I would go ahead and check that. Now, the default post category. It's important to understand the difference between categories and tags. Now, we're going to get into that a little further down the road. But categories are like your big categories. For example, in this, the Bookworm website, you've got fiction, non-fiction, general science, technology, that sort of thing. You can create the categories. What this basically gives you the option of doing is what is it going to post to by default? And the default for all of this is uncategorized. That means that you can basically change it. If we go into our post, we see the categories here, and we only have just one, and categorized. So we're going to leave that the way it is until we get into our lessons down the road that we start creating custom categories. Default link category is basically our blog role, and again we're going to be getting into changing our links. Now, this is a snifty little feature. It's called Press This. It's a bookmarklet. Now, a bookmarklet basically is something that you put into your bookmarks, and it allows you to grab text and graphics and put them into a WordPress post. It is great for citing sources or getting direct quotes. For example, I already have this Press This bookmarklet in my bookmarks right here. So what we would do is if we were to go here, and let's say we click on Hello World, and we wanted to go ahead and we like this post, it's just the greatest post in the entire world, and we wanted to put this into our another post. We highlight it, we go down and go to Press This, and basically it will show up, and you will have to log in to your WordPress website. And what this basically will log into my default website. I'll show you what it's going to look like. We're not going to keep it. But as you can see at the very top of the post, it's Hello World and the Bookworm website. And it will show you exactly what it will do. It'll show you basically this is your first post. It will show the text that you have here and all of this wonderful blogging that you, or all of this wonderful code that you see. It gives the link back to the site so that you can publish it at a later time. We're going to close that out because I really don't want Hello World on my default website, Desire a Difference. But again, it shows you that it can be done, and it's very easy to do. And what you would do to have that done is you would go back and you would drag this little thing up to your bookmark and just place it as so. Now, it's there and ready on your website. The important thing to remember, and as you saw, you have to be logged into your WordPress website for this to work. Otherwise, you're going to have to log in, and what that'll do is whenever you create the text and set it into a post, it'll create a draft for you. And then you can go back in and edit the title and edit the text and put it where you want to. We're going to go ahead and delete that for right now. Okay, so you've got this. Now you can post via email, and that's a wonderful thing. If you were not at a spot where you didn't feel comfortable logging into your WordPress website, you can post via email. And it gives you what you have to do, mail server, login name, password, and the such. It is important to keep this email secret because anyone that would have that email will be able to post to your website. I can't stress that enough. Make sure that it is secret. Only you know. And it also gives you default mail category, which you can choose from. You know, you can have a category on the road and that sort of thing, and people will know that the posts related to on the road are whenever you're traveling and that sort of thing. You can also do remote publishing. Probably not going to be getting into much features on that here. Now, it's important to note, and I neglected to tell you, and I'm so sorry about this. If you have any questions, off in the upper right-hand corner of every single administrative page is Help. Never be afraid to use Help. Most of the times it'll give you descriptions of what you see, but if it doesn't, you can click on the Writing Settings Documentation, and it'll open up a new tab, and it will show you in detail, and very well explained I might add, what each one of the choices is all about and how to implement it. Right now, folks, we're going over the very basics of setting this up. I can get into more details, but you don't have time and you just don't want to have that time. You want to get up and running as fast as possible. So, and we'll collapse this window by clicking on that again. Let's go ahead and get into the reading portion of this. The reading portion basically sets up the settings for what the viewers of your website will see. This is really awesome. Now you can have on your front page, your landing page, your home page, you can have your latest posts, or you can choose, if you have multiple pages or multiple posts, you can choose to have a static page. Now a static page basically is something that remains still, that doesn't change, i.e. the pages in your WordPress website. Now, you can choose to select anything that you want. If you have several hundred pages, you can do that as your front page, and as your post page, you can set up another page that has your WordPress blogs and that sort of thing. And it's a wonderful thing to be able to do. And then whenever you set up a page, if you wanted to set up a post page called blogs, it will show up as blogs underneath here, and all of your blog posts will go to that page by default. In fact, let's go ahead and do that. Let's create a blog page. We're going to add new. I'm jumping ahead here. Bookworm blog. And we're going to go ahead and publish it. Now we're going to go back to our settings. Under reading, we are going to set up as our front page, our landing page, about, and as you can see, Bookworm blog is already set up as a possibility. We're going to set that up as your pages. Now, the neat thing about the front page displays, if you have multiple services and or products, you can swap out pages without having to get all into the code, without having to contact your administrator. Hopefully you will have ditched your website administrator by this time and be managing your own site. You can do that, and you can swap out different products so that people coming directly to your site can have a different thing to view every time. That is keeping relevant. That is creating new content, and new content is key in keeping people coming back to your website. So we're going to go ahead and keep that there. Now the blog page is to show at most. Now whenever you start posting your blogs, which I highly recommend that you post at least 2 to 3 different blog posts a week to keep content going and to keep people coming back. On your blog post you can choose how many to show. And the default is at 10. You can change that to 5, or you can change that to 20, or whatever. We're going to keep it at 10. You can choose on your syndication, your RSS feed. RSS stands for Real Simple Syndication, and we'll get into that a little bit more later on. You can choose how many that will show up there. Now here's the thing. Each post will have a small little field where you can put in a descriptor. We're going to go ahead and show you a little bit about that. We're going to go into Hello World, and right here, excerpt. You can put in a 1 paragraph or 2 to 5 sentences about what this post is going to be about. And what that will show up, it will show up in your summary. Now if you click on full text, it's going to show 10 posts with full text. Now that gets into a bit of a scrolling nightmare. So if you're going to show full text and you have, let's say, 20 blog posts already, I would really shorten it, and if you keep within the Flesch Kincaid reading level and do about 350 to 500 words per blog post, I would set this up at about 3. If you're going to do a summary, show off your content and have about 8 or 10. That's just a simple suggestion. Your encoding, leave it alone. Don't mess with it. So we're going to go ahead and leave things right where they are. We are going to leave the static page, and we are going to go ahead and click on About and Bookworm Blog, and we are going to save changes. Now let's take a look and see what this is going to do. Oops, let's get rid of that and go back to the Bookworm. Let's see what this does. As you can see, now our site has changed. If we remember, the About page wasn't there. Let's go back and change it, and let me show you. So if we keep it on our latest posts and save changes, and we refresh it, it basically shows by default your blog posts, which right now we only have 1. If we want to go back and change to a static page, save changes, and here. This gets into a wonderful thing. Like I said, you can swap out pages, keep content relevant, keeps people coming back, starts making you more money, starts getting your message out to the people. Wonderful, wonderful thing. Let's go ahead and move further. Let's get into our discussion. Discussion or comments. This is where you set up your settings for this. Now, for the most part, I would leave everything at its defaults. You can go ahead and experiment with this at your convenience, but I would go ahead and leave everything at its defaults. Now, there is actually a thing that you need to look at from administrative purposes. We saw in our dashboard a spot where it has spam. Now what I've noticed on my website, since it's starting to get a lot more traffic, there are a lot more people finding me and wanting to put up links to their own whatever, their own websites. Now that can be a nightmare because what happens is that their links get caught on a highly trafficked site, or site that has a lot of traffic, and it helps them. Well, I don't want to help them, you know, if they're putting up a lot of junk. So under the discussions, you can put down here, email me whenever anyone posts a comment. Comments held in moderation. And before a comment has appeared, you have comment author must have a previously approved comment. I would leave that. And just to hold control over your website, an administrator must always approve the comment. This will help in keeping the spam out. You're going to get a lot of email, you know, that sort of thing, especially whenever your site gets a lot of traffic. Now, again, lots of choices here. Go into your help. You want to get more into that, and this will give you more in-depth explanation as to all of the choices that you have for your comments. We'll go ahead and close that out. Now you can go ahead and set up comments in moderation. You have a hold the comment in queue if it contains 2 or more links. I would leave that at its defaults. Usually spammers will put in more than that, or 5 or 500, that sort of thing. You can have a comment at blacklists. Again, content, name, URL, email. I mean, you can put in a bunch of profanity, a bunch of slang if you don't want to appear, and then what that'll do is it'll get held for a moderator to approve. You can also use avatars. Now, avatars are basically little pictures of individuals who have put a comment. Now, by default, the mystery man is here. I would change it to a generated one of these. It doesn't matter which one, but basically it shows up as a little picture under your comment. And we're going to go ahead and put that there. We're going to leave it as is. Now we want to be able to show our avatars. Again, it makes our blog posting a little more interesting. It gives a little more of a graphic representation to people that are there. Maximum rating, we want to keep it at suitable for all audiences. Definitely want to do that. So once you've done making all of your changes here, let's go ahead and collapse the help. We're going to go ahead and save our changes. And again, it's very, very fast. Under the media, we are going to go ahead, and these are the default settings for all media files that we upload. We have image sizes, embeds, upload files, that sort of thing. I would definitely keep your content uploads in the same spot. WordPress content uploads, as you can see here. Leave it at its default. It makes for a lot easier backup, which we will get into down the road. Now, make sure you definitely leave this checkbox marked. Organize my files into month and year based folders. That really helps in organizing if you need to go back. Now you can go ahead and mess around with a lot of this stuff. I tend to leave things as default, but you can change the image sizes in your posts and in your pages. But that just gives you the default settings for all of this. I would leave them as they are. Attempt to automatically embed all plain text URLs. Again, leave everything right where it is. Privacy. Now this is important. If we remember a long time ago GeoCities and the wonderful under construction pages, well, that is no longer cool and hasn't been cool for at least a decade. You want to make sure that you have everything ready for your site. Every post, every page, all of your plugins, everything ready for your site to go live. So I have, for training purposes, I would like to block search engines but allow normal visitors. So anyone that has this link will be able to view the site, but That's entirely up to me. I do not want search engines to do this. When the site is ready, you need to be able to check mark or click on that choice, and you want to have it available to search engines and everything. We're going to leave it as default. My suggestion, before you put your site live, you need to have your home page, your about page. If you're a business, I would suggest a mission statement. You need to have a contact page. You need to have probably about 3 posts, and have your product stuff in line and ready to go. Have your shopping cart ready, have your credit card, that sort of thing. Have everything ready as far as your finances, and make sure that all of your ducks in a row. If you have 4 or 5 people managing the site, this is a great thing for all of them to be able to check. And the last thing are permalinks. Permalinks are, well, permanent links. And they basically, it is a permanent URL for all of your pages and all of your posts. This is very, very, very important for you to get. Now, by default, it has got your desireadifference.com/training. That's this website. Now, P equals 123. That means page equals whatever page number it puts out. Not a very URL friendly site. It's basically borderline what's called a sloppy URL. Now you can go ahead and put the date and name, month and name, that sort of thing, but this really doesn't distinguish any of your pages at all. Let me show you what I mean. Let's go ahead and go to my website. Oops, let's do this. Have to spell it out, ence.com. If we go back to my website and we go ahead and click on, at the time of this video, blogging strategies and tools for a 6-figure income, if you look up in the URL, you will see, after all of the URL stuff, blogging strategy tools 6-figure future. Yes, 6-figure future. That's what I meant to say. But in any case, you want that URL friendly page. So what you have to do is click Custom Structure. Now, if you want to pause the video after this, you can go ahead and do so. But what you want to put down is /, and that, depending upon your keyboard, mine is right next to the Shift key. You want to put %, post name, %, and you want to do that. Category base and tag base, just go ahead and leave those alone. Don't even worry about it. And you want to go ahead and save changes. That is going to make everything very, very, very friendly to your sites, so that people will spread your pages and spread your products and all of that. Let's go ahead and log out. And I'm Robert Weimer, the go-to guy, concluding another WordPress tutorial. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at robert@desireadifference.com. Thank you and have a wonderful and profitable day.